Hey guys, Ivan here, and in today's video we have something really interesting. We have some bodybuilding drama, or should I say some classic physique drama. Before we start today's video, you're probably noticing my new shelf right here, so I decided to place some of my favorite trophies and medals on it, my custom belt made by Crown Custom Belts, and of course the Blackstone Lab supplements. Use code IVAN for a 15% discount. The studio is gonna get nicer, guys, don't worry. I'll add some more lighting, probably like a new background, a poster. I know most of you guys don't even care about that, but it's gonna get nice. I'm just starting with this, I'll figure it out. Anyways, back to the video. Like I said, we have some very interesting bodybuilding drama, and actually, it's between Logan Franklin and Ramon Dino. What the hell happened? So basically what happened is Logan Franklin was a guest on Fu Arabiat's podcast. They were chit-chatting about everything, and then Logan was supposed to make his top 5 prediction for the classic physique. Of course, in first spot, he had himself. In second, interestingly, he had Rav Diesel, Terence Ruffin, not Mike Sommerfeld. He had Mike in third. In fourth, he actually had Josema. And then, when it came to fifth spot, this is what he had to say.
And now, this name is going to be fully determined because that's 4.
Yeah.
Now, the fifth guy, I want to say Ramon.
Okay.
But at the same time, I do not want to say Ramon because I do not believe 1 second Ramon is going to make weight.
I know, right? He looks
And that he has been making weight. There's something fishy. But I don't think he's making weight. And I'm going to watch
What the
his.
does that mean? You
I'm
think
just
this
saying, I don't want to see him get taller randomly because
he's
we
gonna
have
just grow. He's gonna grow the day of the show.
yeah. So if Ramon makes weight,
Okay, he's in the top 5.
he's in the top 5.
All right, very interesting. So basically what Logan did here was actually 2 things. First of all, he called out Ramon Dino for being too big for classic, for potentially not being able to make the weight for the Mr. Olympia, and also for not being able to make the weight over the years and still competing at a Mr. Olympia. Now, how is that even possible? Well, that's when the second thing comes in. Basically, Logan called out the IFBB or the Mr. Olympia. Basically, what he's saying is there is something fishy, which means only one thing. They allowed Ramon Dino to compete even without having his classic physique weight. Is that real? Is that true? Well, we all saw those videos of these guys being measured at the Mr. Olympia, Chris Bumstead included, Ramon Dino especially, and they were measuring their hair. So that was definitely very fishy. And also there is a lot of stories from a lot of people saying that Larry Wheels did not make his weight at that show in Ireland where he won his pro card. And you guys know he competed in open bodybuilding, that wasn't planned, but then they allowed him to do the classic physique as well. There was something fishy about that for sure. But as far as the Mr. Olympia, are they just gonna let it slide? I doubt that. But there is a possibility of them measuring the guys' hair or letting them, climb up a little bit on their toes, something like that. I mean, I don't know how true this is, but that's what Logan is saying. And I don't know how smart of a move this is for Logan. If he wants to win the Mr. Olympia and to be the representation of the whole sport of classic physique of a division, he should probably be talking nice things about IFBB and Mr. Olympia. I mean, yeah, he's kind of talking bad about Ramon Dino, but really, if they're letting him compete and he's not under the weight cap, what does that mean about the federation, the Mr. Olympia? These are some serious accusations here. Even though he's saying it jokingly, I mean, the guy is one of the best in the sport. A lot of people will hear about this. And this is actually all over social media, all over Instagram. So it's definitely taking a lot of heat right now. And that's basically what he's saying. Ramon was not making the weight all this time and was still allowed to compete. And IFBB didn't do anything about it. Well, we also have Ramon's response. In one of the posts, he actually commented on IG. Let's check that out. He tags Logan Franklin and he says, anyone who performs well in the top 5 is a favorite. But sorry, you know it all, and I always made weight. I had difficulties before, but I always made weight. Otherwise, I would not be on the stage, right? But okay, you're the know-it-all. Good luck getting there too. Alright, interesting for sure. Ramon Dino is definitely not staying quiet about this. He's actually commenting on a post, which is not very common for Ramon Dino. He's usually very silent. He never really gets involved into any kind of drama, but he had to respond to this. And he's saying basically that yes, he always struggled to make the weight, and we all know about this. This was an issue for Ramon Dino, but he always made the weight. Otherwise, how would he even end up on that Mr. Olympia stage? So what Ramon is saying is, are you accusing IFBB or the Mr. Olympia? Which Logan is doing indirectly, but he is doing that. Now, if we talk about Ramon Dino, is he actually too big, the way Logan says? Well, I wouldn't say so. I mean, he is really big, and he could do well in open bodybuilding, just like Urs Kalecinski. But if Urs was able to make the weight, then why Ramon wasn't? Urs is probably even bigger in the off-season than Ramon. Yet he was making the weight and he would get really depleted, really small, but he would get on that stage. He would actually make the weight. And I believe the same thing about Ramon Dino. I don't think there was anything fishy, other than maybe measuring the guys' hair and having them like an inch or half an inch. Other than that, I don't think Ramon had some sort of a special treatment. Like the other guys had to suffer to make the weight, but they would let Ramon get in. No, I don't think so. Is he actually that massive? Well, we got this video from a couple of weeks ago. Let's take a look at it. I mean, hell yeah, the guy is absolutely freaking huge. This was again from a couple of weeks ago, so at this point he's probably smaller, but also leaner, sharper. However, here, he looks like he could be a pretty decent open bodybuilder, which is definitely something Logan Franklin couldn't do successfully. Ramon Dino definitely does pack a lot of size, a ton of size. For a classic guy, this is actually pretty freaky. Again, he's going to get a lot smaller until the showtime, but yeah, it does look like he's gonna struggle this year, especially to actually make that weight. I don't know what his weight is right here, but he definitely looks super massive right here, and also very lean. Very lean. If he was competing in open bodybuilding, this is like a 1 week out condition, 2 weeks out max. More like 1 week out, just a peak week and he's there. But this is actually at like 7-ish weeks out. So he's definitely going to get smaller, drier, leaner. But, if Mike Sommerfeld makes the weight, then why Ramon wouldn't be able to? However, it does seem like Ramon put on some new muscle this year. I don't think he was this big last year or the year so far. So it does look like he's going to struggle. I mean, Logan is definitely onto something. But do I think they actually let him compete before without making the weight? I mean, I don't know, to be honest, guys. I don't know. I don't know why is Logan saying this. What is he basing this on? Maybe he knows something I don't. We don't. But yeah, I have to agree with him on Ramon being super massive right now. He does look really huge. And it's going to be very difficult for him to make the weight this year. However, I do believe he's going to make it. I think he's doing kind of what Mike Sommerfeld is doing. He's going to try and get as big as possible and then just get super shredded, extra shredded, make the weight somehow by some magic and actually barely make the weight and be super peeled and bigger than before. Now, the tricky thing with Ramon is hopefully this time around he won't have those sweating issues that he had before. I think the last 2 shows, Arnold Classic Brazil and Mr. Olympia, I think that was it, 2 shows, but there were actually 2 shows back to back, so he probably had some issues at the time. I don't know what exactly it was. There was somebody who was saying that it's because he was eating donuts every time before the stage. So if that was a mistake he was making, he can definitely fix that and not repeat the same mistake and not get super sweaty and fade away on the show. Hopefully that's going to be fixed. But again, if he makes the weight and if he is super shredded, and based on that video also, it seems like his posing is better. His posing wasn't perfect so far. Even when he was fighting for that first with Chris Bumster, he was placing second at the Mr. Olympia, his posing wasn't exactly peachless. It definitely could have used more work. So it seems like he improved the posing, it seems like he's bigger, and if he makes the weight, if he gets super shredded, And if he controls his sweating and his presentation, his performance overall really well, and he makes the weight, he can definitely be a winner. You know, in my opinion, if everything goes well for him, he's my second guy. I think Mike Sommerfeld is going to win, and I have Ramon in second, or even in first. That's the way I see it. I think Logan is kind of probably a little bit maybe jealous of Ramon's size, because Logan doesn't have that size, not even close. If classic physique was what we all thought it was supposed to be, the golden era, the aesthetic kind of a look without too much size, without maximum size, with size not being that important of a factor, then yeah, Logan would be the Mr. Olympia. I personally love his look. I really love the conditioning he brought to the Arnold Classic, especially. This recent show that he won, he was good. He proved to us that he can be consistent, that he's going to be conditioned at the Mr. Olympia, but I think he was definitely drier, sharper at the Arnold Classic. But I do like his look. I do like his shape, his posing, and everything like that. He does have that very, very classic look. But as far as the size, he is not exactly there with the top guys, with the best in the world. I mean, sure, he is a top guy. He plays second at the Arnold Classic, but still, to go against these mass monsters like Mike Sommerfeld, like Ramon Dino, he needs to put on some more size. And I think he's also like very close to his weight cap, but he's not struggling to make the weight. You know, he just peaks without even worrying about the weight, and he's there within the weight cap. So he definitely needs to put on some more muscle. You guys can hate that, you can disagree with me or with the judges or with the IFBB, but we know what classic physique is about, and it's plenty about the size, which Logan simply does not have yet. And I really don't think the judges are going to go for the more classic look, even though he doesn't have the size, the same size that guys like Ramon and Mike have. We'll see what's going to happen. I'm really curious to see if Ramon is actually going to bring the conditioning without the sweating, and if Logan is going to get even sharper than he was at this show, if he's going to bring something like what he brought to the Arnold Classic. That can be very competitive. I can see him in the top 3. I can see him beating guys like Ralph Diesel, Brian Ainsley. You know, I can see him beating those guys, but it's going to be very difficult. I do think if everybody is 100%, which is also a very difficult thing to predict, but let's say everybody's on. I would say Mike wins, Ramon second. In third, it's going to be between Logan Franklin and Ralph Diesel, and then for fifth, I can see maybe Jose Manuel and let's say Brian Ainsley battling for that fifth. But that's my top 5, something like that. I do think Ramon Dino has a very big potential to win the show, or at least to place inside of the top 2 if he makes the weight, or if they let him compete even without making the weight. Whatever you guys think about this topic, tell me down below in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more bodybuilding content like this, guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon. All the best, and bye-bye.